There's a lot of content creators right now that are grifting.
Because they don't agree with me, that means they grifting.
Up the wrong avenue, up the wrong road here, and trying to kind of play defense mode for a particular brand, which we'll go over. But they're trying to...
It's all about my console wars. It's because you Xbox fanboys losing all your games. That's what it is, huh?
Not realizing that PlayStation is doing the same exact thing.
Yes, demonize exclusives and why they are a bad thing. So,
I mean, to be honest with you, exclusives are really anti-consumer. Now, mind you, they were beneficial back then because the companies was competitive amongst each other. But as of right now, yes, exclusives are bad. I mean, just look at the lackluster sales of Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16. The game didn't sell that well due to the fact that it was exclusive. Now, see, what you people don't understand is that you're still stuck in the 80s and the 90s where everything's competitive and Nintendo's still going against Sega. Well, guess what? That's not working anymore because you know why? People are playing free-to-plays and third-party games. They've always have. It is what it is, man. This has been going on since the beginning of time, bro. None of these exclusives is out here selling PlayStation 5 consoles. You people know this already. Stop capping, bruh.
Let's talk at length real quick in regards to exclusives. Do they matter? Are they good for an ecosystem?
I mean, if they mattered, their audience would have purchased it, don't you think? You know, the same game that you said not enough people bought. I mean, you bought 3 copies of Concord, which I guess, I mean, it's not really an exclusive because it's on PC. So, well, that game being locked to PS5 and PC didn't help the game be a success, did it? XVault Gaming? And another thing, too, about exclusives. Just because something is exclusive doesn't necessarily mean it's a good game either. Let's get that out of the way, bro, because you guys got Code Violet and y'all damage controlling for it because it's now dropping on PC and Xbox. And the funny thing is, it's made by the same people that did Quantum Era. Really? I mean, just the game being labeled an exclusive doesn't necessarily mean that the game is good. Can we all agree with that?
Right to the meat of the matter here. And we're talking again about exclusives. Do they matter? Do they not matter? Does it affect an ecosystem? Does it affect you as a consumer in any way, shape, or form? And well, we're going to have a lot of...
I mean, let's also talk about the fact that it affects these companies. Because a lot of these games being exclusive doesn't help these companies make back the money that they invested in these projects. It's so funny that you guys are looking at it from the perspective of the gamers when you're not looking at it from the perspective of the company. There's a reason as to why the companies don't bring out some of these same projects that we know and love because they're just not making enough money off them. Like Killzone, for example. Maybe if that game was multi-plat, the game would have still been here. But no, it's exclusive. The game is just like Marvel Spider-Man in the back at your nearby graveyard.
Agreements. We're going to have a lot of agreements here with this video because some folks do agree, they don't agree. But don't get it confused. Some of them are making the case against exclusives in order to grift and play defense, once again, for the Xbox ecosystem.
Oh, really?
Because, well...
So we're going to sit there and act like PlayStation is not putting their games on PC.
Xbox, again, is all but third party at this point in time.
And Sony is third party as well. When you put your game on another platform, that is the definition of third party. I can play a PlayStation game through a Steam Deck, and a ROG Ally, a desktop, and a laptop. That is 4 different platforms I can play PlayStation games on, including the PS5. That is the definition of multi-platform.
They really don't have any exclusives going forward, or they won't, as that red line continues to be visited, right? So let's start off with the basic stuff here, guys. Again, I'm gonna keep using the phrase demonizing exclusives because when was this a thing? Do you notice also a trend here, folks? The trend that the competitor being PlayStation versus Xbox, they're not bringing up Nintendo. It's fine to have exclusives for Nintendo. It's fine to keep Mario.
No, that's not it. But see, well, hold on. Let's break this down. Did the exclusives help the Wii U? Did the exclusive argument help the Nintendo GameCube? Exactly. The only reason as to why the Nintendo Switch is successful, you big bald-headed dummy, has more to do with the fact that Nintendo has always thrived in portable gaming. All they did was merge their home console and a portable gaming market into one, and that's why we have the Nintendo Switch. How hard is it for you to understand? Because as much as you guys want to sit there and say, oh, Nintendo, they doing exclusives, but did the exclusives save the GameCube and the Nintendo Wii U? You guys know exactly where I'm coming from with this garbage. So stop the cap, bro. Because at the end of the day, people don't respect Nintendo in regards to home console. They have lost that from their fans, all in favor of their portable gaming market. How come you people keep forgetting that? It just seems like you guys want to keep attacking Xbox, but you're not understanding the weight of what you're actually trying to say.
Where it belongs, it's fine to keep Legend of Zelda where it belongs for the IP. It's fine to keep Metroid. It's fine to keep Pokemon.
Yeah, because there's one thing. Those games actually sell. The people picking up the Nintendo Switch are picking it up for Legend of Zelda and Pokemon, like you just mentioned. That's not what's going on PlayStation. What, you know what, man? Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, the fact that you people can't even articulate and break down a proper argument just shows you that you ain't nothing but a fanboy. Because how do you not see that? How are you going to compare Astrobot to a game like Pokemon? You know, a game that people actually pick up the Switch, pay Nintendo Switch money to play their game online? Like, bro, go ahead.
Aside from, some of the mobile spin-offs, right? But it's not not seeing a native version on the PC aside from emulation and stuff like that. We do not hold Nintendo in the same light, and when I say we, I mean a lot of these journalists and a lot of these content creators.
Well, one, it's not a home console, it's a portable device, and two, Nintendo gamers are actually buying the Switch for Nintendo's very own games. How hard is it for you to understand? So when you PlayStation dudes want to compare yourself to the dudes on Nintendo, you just look foolish in the end. Because look at that, you got games like Stellar Blade, Rise and Ronin, you got a 70 million install base, and you're trying to tell me that Astro Bot only sold 1.5 million. I don't want to hear the fact, it's because adults play on PS5 and there ain't a lot of kids on these consoles or whatever, but I can guarantee you that if Nintendo made a game called Astro Bot in that same similar fashion, the game would have sold well. See, there you go. There's the difference, bro. I don't understand why you PlayStation fanboys think you're like these Nintendo gamers where you pick up your console to play your said games. Because we know the majority of people that are playing on Xbox and PlayStation are playing them mostly for third party. You people are fully aware of this. Stop capping.
That are, again, demonizing exclusives.
It's not that we're demonizing. It has more to do with the fact that it just doesn't make sense in today's modern gaming market, especially considering the budgets of these games. A game could have sold 1 million back then because it didn't take that much money to make. But as time goes on, gaming is becoming more expensive. You need to make more money. The higher budget of the game means that you need more people to go out there to buy and play it. How is this a hard concept for you PlayStation ponies to understand? Why do you think Sony's putting their games on PC? Because their games are becoming more expensive than they have been, and they need to compensate and make more money. Like, how hard? And then on top of that, Nintendo is not putting the same amount of money in their games like Sony and Microsoft is. You know how Super Mario Bros. Wonder only had a $200,000 budget, but yet they walked out with AAA money. That's what I be trying to tell you. Nintendo be masquerading with double A's and walking out with AAA money. Okay? So even if their games sell 1, 2, maybe 3 million, I mean, in some of their titles they do, they still made more than they ever had because they didn't put that much money into the game that they created.
General. Now, there's going to be a lot of gamers out there that think that, no, we should play where we want, how we want, where we want, right? All that stuff, right? But the point is, why? Whatever controller I like, so on and so forth, right? As we continue to go on, there are becoming less and less console exclusives, or at least they're in time.
And if exclusives was that important, wouldn't we be seeing more?
As many. For sure, that landscape is changing. But what is not changing all the time for every competitor. And again, we're speaking of Nintendo and PlayStation. We're not
What
seeing...
are you talking about, bro? You see what I'm saying? You see how PlayStation gamers want to sit there and act like we're like you dudes on Nintendo. Bro, all the exclusive games that you've had on the PlayStation 5 from this point forward hasn't even eclipsed Mario Kart 8 in sales. You guys are fully aware of this, right? Like, if you take the sales of every single PlayStation exclusive game, well, console exclusive, according to these bonies, none of them haven't even eclipsed Animal Crossing or Smash Bros. So what are we doing here, bro? So you want to sit there and say exclusive games matter? Yeah, not from you.
Shift over to an Xbox platform, and folks are upset that shouldn't be the case. Mostly PC folks who do like that open platform, right? It makes sense for them to, I just want to play everything there, right? We've seen so many iterations, and again, I'm going to bring up the Pokemon franchise there because there's been so many DMCA takedowns and such like that for any, home. But again, what we're going to revisit here is the fact that why exclusives matter. Are they a bad thing? Let's start there as well. Are they a bad thing? Absolutely not. And those that are arguing the fact that they are
exclusives are bad. Concord failed due to exclusivity. Let's not act, bro. Helldivers 2 succeeded due to the game being multi-platform on PC. Let's not front. Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth all failed on PlayStation. Why? Due to exclusivity. Astrobot only sold 1.5 million due to exclusivity. I mean, you have to ask yourself, is exclusivity really benefiting the gamers? I mean, is this why we're getting all these studio closures? Because of exclusivity? Because of console gamer pride? About where people want to play their favorite games on, which only translate to the company not getting any money from them? Because you really think that they're getting money with you complaining about, oh, why games should stay exclusive? No, they're getting money based off people buying the game the way they're supposed to. And unfortunately, the PlayStation community has failed Sony by not supporting their own intellectual parties instead of supporting Microsoft's very own titles. Y'all are the biggest dummies in the gaming community.
I think because you want to be able to play and wherever you want, however you want, like we just revisited, right? The problem we have here, folks, the problem we have here is the fact that we don't understand why it makes sense as a business and ecosystem sense, right? Yes, of course, I want it to be everywhere so I can play it because I don't want to have another platform that does it to the extent of what PlayStation has done throughout the years and celebrates the history of gaming within the PlayStation ecosystem. And at the end of the day, it's a hell of a lot of fun, right? They should have doubled down on their exclusives. If they would have had Scalebound come out, if they would have kept...
That wouldn't have made people pick up the Xbox One, bro. Stop the cap, bro. Like, it's so funny that you guys want to sit there and say, oh, if it was for the exclusive games of the Xbox One, it would have failed. No. It had nothing to do with that. It has more to do with the fact that they couldn't transfer the fans from the 360 easily like how Sony did with the PS3 to PS4. That's why Microsoft said that was a very, very important generation to come out on top of, because that you would have had your existing 360 crowd and you would have already transferred them to the Xbox One automatically. Matter of fact, I think one thing that would have helped Xbox is backwards compatibility from the gate. So anybody that picked up 360 games would have looked at the fact like, oh, wow, I get that one and I get my 360 all in one package. That would have completely shifted the tide, but that's not what happened. Unfortunately, it was a mistake or something that Microsoft didn't see at the time. Now that they did, but it was a little too late for people. That's why PS4 and PS5 is backwards compatible, because if you invested so much money on the PS4, of course you're going to upgrade to the PS5. It only makes sense. Why do you think people are looking forward to the Nintendo Switch 2? Do you think Nintendo Switch 2 owners would be looking forward to picking one up if you couldn't transfer your old catalog? You should know better than that. Ain't that the reason why people upgraded to the PS2? You big dummy? Oh, because they can take the PS1 games and accessories and all that controllers and take it to the PS2. That's why the PS2 did so well. It's so funny that you guys want to sit there and talk about how PlayStation did well in the things that they did, but you don't want to articulate and explain as to why they did well in the first place. I broke it down to you. DVD player, backwards compatibility. Even if people said, oh, the Xbox, which was more expensive, and the GameCube looked more appealing to them, they're gonna look back at their PS1 and says, well, with this console, I get the next gen experience, plus a DVD player where my mom and brothers and sisters can watch movies on and play games and play. It was a pretty easy decision, if you ask me.
Hard at their IPs, if it would have been managed well, and they would have changed is Xbox. Nintendo hasn't changed. PlayStation hasn't changed.
PlayStation hasn't changed. Are you going to sit there and say that with a straight face? PlayStation hasn't changed? So explain to me why PlayStation is putting games on PC no different than when Xbox did during the Xbox One generation.
No, they're now going to PC. They're going to PC more often and stuff like
Yeah, which also shows you that they've changed.
Like that for the first party. Yes, you're right. And that's again, due to the change in the landscape for AAA games, right?
So why do you use that excuse for Sony, but you can't use that excuse and argument for Microsoft? You just said, oh, Nintendo and PlayStation did not change, and then you go as far to say, oh, the reason why Sony's doing it because of the change of the gaming landscape. Oh my, bro.
You do have that instance, and I understand that.
Wow.
But again, it's you as a gamer and as a consumer. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nintendo Switch has been very affordable in all iterations, whether it be a Switch Lite or it be the regular, whether it be the OLED model, whether it be the regular PlayStation, whether it be the PlayStation 5 Pro because you want some more juice and power out of it.
Whether are you really justifying the PS5 Pro?
Whether it be an Xbox Series S and that's good for you, good enough for you, whether it be an Xbox Series X and you want that more power. And I'm going to just bring a couple of examples here, right? Let's start with Nintendo. You're going to tell me The Legend of Zelda, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Mario in general.
Okay.
Mario Party.
Okay.
Metroid.
Yep.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, we know the names.
None of those have tilted or influenced someone to buy a Nintendo product.
I love it. I love it. I knew you was going to go there. I love it because you know why? That's where I got you. You're wrong. Because explain the failure of the Wii U. Oh, I got you there, huh? Cat got your tongue there, buddy. So explain. Smash Bros, Mario Kart 8, all these games came out on the Wii U. And ain't nobody picked up the Wii U, right? Can we all agree? The Wii U was a flop and a failure. It had the Marios, it had the 3D. Let's go through the list. Now, let's go. The same games you see on the Switch that they ported were the same games that was on the Wii U, including Legend of Zelda. And it still failed. So nobody want to sit there and say, oh, exclusive games, they pushing. Well, if it did, then explain as to why nobody got into Mario Kart 8 until the Switch. Explain how nobody got into Breath of Wild into the Switch. Explain how people didn't get into 3D World due to the Switch. Explain how people didn't get into Mario Maker until the Switch. Explain. You can't. Splatoon even. Explain how that game did successful on the Wii U, on the Switch, than it did on the Wii U. We could go through the whole list, baby. We can go through the whole list of Wii U exclusives that didn't help sell that console. You cannot use the Switch as an example because Nintendo has always been successful in portable gaming. That's why they said, you know what? Forget the home console. We'll focus on the portable, and we'll make the portable be docked to where you can play it at home. How do you not understand this, bro? Let's rewind that.
Animal Crossing. None of those have tilted or influenced someone to buy a Nintendo.
They haven't. Not since the N64. Not since the GameCube. People bought the Wii, but a lot of people bought the Wii for the wrong reasons, guys. The casuals. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, none of that shifted people towards the Wii U, though. You want to sit there and say that good games shift people to consoles? The Wii U had a very good library of games. There was so much good that they are very successful on the Switch. So you guys can't sit there and downplay. Even Breath of Wild, which had most of its development, was on the Wii U. So you can't sit there and bash and say that the Wii U didn't have good games. People still didn't want to pick up the Nintendo hardware because guess what? They didn't want one. Now, in regards to portable, that's different because Nintendo's always done good since Game Boy, Game Boy Color, SP, DS, DSi, DS Lite, 3DS, 3DS. They've always done well in that department. So using that as an excuse to say, oh, well, see, they do. Yeah, because Nintendo's always dominated in portable. So it makes sense.
If that's available everywhere, why would anybody get an underpowered Switch? Why would anybody get an underpowered Wii U? Or GameCube at the time when it had competition from the PS3.
See, the people didn't pick up the GameCube has more to do with the fact that Nintendo's fans was alienated due to the third party. right? When Sony acquired that third party with the PS1 and 2, as you can see, a lot of those Nintendo fans shifted to PlayStation, right? So clearly that shows you that there was not that big of a Nintendo audience at that time. But I do think Nintendo over the past few years has been trying to evolve. You know, I think they've been trying to, because they had no other option but to stay with their own IPs, that they built the value right back into them. Does that make sense? I feel like with how strong, like they didn't completely forget about them like how Sony do with a Killzone and just say, all right, it didn't work, let's cancel the game. Even when Nintendo was at its worst, they still said, you know what, we know we got good games. Let's just keep pushing them. Let's just keep doing what we got to do. And eventually people will fall in love with our games again, just like they did back with the NES and the Super Nintendo. And look what happened. You get what I'm saying? But they'll never be able to do it with a home console. But maybe, who knows? They might be able to do one in the future. But they're going to use the Switch as a backbone first. That's all I'm saying.
Xbox 360, so on and so forth. Why would you buy an underpowered machine if you can play it probably at higher specs, more options, blah, 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 blah? Why would you do it?
Because it's not portable.
And again, for PlayStation, Gran Turismo, Infamous series, Resistance.
Bro, you bringing up games that don't even exist no more, bro. Hold on, let's go.
Blah, blah, blah.
Let's hear it. Blah, 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 blah.
And
blah,
again,
blah, blah, blah.
For PlayStation, Gran Turismo, Infamous series.
Bro, we haven't seen an Infamous game since Second Son.
Resistance.
We haven't seen a game since PS3.
Uncharted.
We haven't seen Uncharted since PS4.
Ratchet and Clank, Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow Colossus hasn't had a new game since PS4, and that one was a remake.
Horizon series, Ghost of Tsushima.
We haven't seen a new Horizon game that has been a next-gen exclusive on PS5, and all of its development's been on... Bro, you just explaining as to why Sony sucks.
Uncharted, right? Like I said again, Marvel Spider-Man, The Last of Us.
We haven't seen a new Marvel Spider-Man 2 since 2023 with the sequel, because Miles Morales and that other one, I ain't counting. Because those are remasters.
God of War.
We haven't seen God of War since 2022, which also was a PS4 game developed.
These games, if they're available everywhere, and you can just play them on PC day one, that's going to possibly influence the extinction of a console.
No, that's not true. Because at the end of the day, somebody's not going to want... You see, you're not understanding, bro. You're not understanding, bro. You're still getting the physical copy on PlayStation. Am I right? You're still also getting the experience to this game for far cheaper than you would have got on PC. Am I right? You're still getting the convenience option of just buying the box, like y'all say, plugging it in, and having some similar access to what PC does without all the bells and whistles. Am I right? For $500? There's still every reason as to why somebody would pick that up, you big dummy. Because at the end of the day, people, like you said, you consoles don't want to fix motherboards and GPUs and CPUs, right? You like things easy. Well, what do you think Sony do for you? Make it easy. They put all the chips in there for you, so you ain't got to worry about all that PC architectures.
PlayStation or Xbox even sooner than what they would have been.
Ridiculous, bro.
They're great entry-level additions for consoles. Not everybody wants to mess around with PC. For those of you that do, fantastic.
Well, you just answered your own question. Therefore, like I've said, game's still with another W.
I never, ever condone somebody making fun of somebody where they want to play how they choose to play. That's fine. It's the misinformation is why I do what I do on this channel.
Yeah, you see? Like, I think when he said it like that, I think he means that the misinformation that he's doing. Because he clearly can't discuss anything.
That's why I do what I do on this channel.
Yeah, we know.
Play where you want, how you want. However, I still am on the hill that exclusives matter. I think they can.
If exclusives matter, PlayStation gamers would buy them. Can we all agree? They're not buying them.
Continue to matter. They will always matter. And if they ever go away, a piece of gaming dies.
How does it die? How does it the game not being locked to a platform makes the game? What? Huh? What? So you just said gaming dies if exclusives die. You hear this fool? This is a fanboy, bro. This is a fanboy.
I still am on the hill that exclusives matter. I think they continue to matter. They will always matter. And if they ever go away...
See, a lot of you... Let me break this down, bro. A lot of y'all don't even know why exclusives even mattered in the first place. Exclusives mattered back then because companies was competitive amongst each other. You know, oh, Super Nintendo, you did that? Oh, we're gonna put a Vector Man. You saying our system's slow? Oh, okay, we're gonna put a fast game on the Super Nintendo. We ain't gonna make fun of us and say Mario's a slow man game, CPU. That's why it was good. Because the companies was competing for your dollar. Nowadays, that's not what's going on. Most people picking up these platforms just so they can play Call of Duty online. So Sony don't care because they still get their monthly and yearly membership from you just to play the game. But it's not due to exclusives. It's not. If third party went around, these platforms wouldn't even exist. Maybe only Nintendo, but that's it.
A piece of gaming dies.
Oh,
A piece of gaming dies when it comes to competition.
Bro, there's no competition, bro. Microsoft and Sony, bro, none of them are competing, bro. They all making their bread laughing at you ponies.
When it comes to sprouting out the quality, the difference is to take chances, to not be lost in the shuffle.
Well, why? Bro, you just don't get it, do you? That has nothing to do with the games being exclusives. You got third party that don't even want to drop games because they're afraid that they ain't gonna sell. You even got third party. This ain't even about exclusives. This is just about gaming in general. Would anybody be like? It was shocking to see Ninja Gaiden because Koei Tecmo did not want to do that game. They're still not doing it. Okay, Platinum said, you know what? Microsoft funding it. They doing this. They put faith because they probably said Ninja Gaiden is a great game. Ninja Gaiden also had a lot of it when it went to its 3D iteration. A lot of love from the Xbox community. So that's probably why Microsoft said, nah, we know a lot of Xbox dudes like these games. Let's bring it out. Let's fund them. Let's put them on PlayStation even. Let's do the whole shebang. They realize how gaming is important for people. But it took for Microsoft to want to do that. But if the game was locked to Xbox, the game probably wouldn't have sold. It wouldn't have done well. That's a type of game that's very niche. That's a type of game that a lot of people don't really value, or should I say appreciate anymore. That's why I'm shocked we're seeing Onimusha coming back. Because it's like, we know with how bad the re-release did the first game, and now they're going to take another chance at a gamble. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they don't modernize it too bad, but still, it just shows you that companies, it's not even about Microsoft or Sony. It's all companies afraid. You know what? Let me break this down. Okay. I'm going to use Nintendo as an example. It's why Nintendo hasn't brought you an F-Zero, guys, because they're afraid that if they put the money on it, no matter how good it is, nobody's going to buy it. The same thing could happen to Nintendo. Everything could be said amongst each other. This is what we're trying to tell you. This has nothing to do with exclusives, bro. This has more to do with the product of the time period of gaming. That's why you're getting re-releases and remasters, because they don't cost that much money to make. So if people don't buy them in the millions, well, guess what? Oh, okay, we good then. We good. Because companies are tired of taking losses on their games.
And again, I can bring Astrobot, since it's the most recent example, I can bring that up time and time again. Astrobot would not exist if Mario was available on every single platform.
So you're essentially saying that Mario's a better game than Astrobot. I mean, he's probably right about that. He probably is right about that. He's most definitely, because nobody's going to play. I mean, they're not even playing it now. But yeah, if you have... So hold on. Look. So you just admit... Hold on. Repeat this. Listen to it again.
Time and time again.
Listen.
Astrobot would not exist if Mario was available on every single platform.
So essentially what you're saying, that Mario is such a household name that if it existed on your platform, that Sony wouldn't even took the time of day to even make the game, because it would have got overshadowed by Mario. Now, I like what you said right there. Now, look what's going on with Xbox. Oh, Gabe, so I see what you're coming from. Forza Horizon, #1 trending game on your platform. Call of Duty, Microsoft game, #1 trending game on your platform. Diablo 4, another game that you all play on your platform. These are Xbox games. So you're essentially saying that Sony will no longer need to make games anymore, because now they're just going to focus on these other games that if they... You see what's dangerous? You see what I'm... Now you guys are starting to see it? He's not going to come up front and tell you this, but you just said that Astrobot wouldn't exist if Mario was on PlayStation. And I know what you meant by that. You're essentially saying that nobody would even... They barely even bought the game now. Okay? It would have completely destroyed it. And what's even more funny about that, you're worrying about it from Nintendo, but you ain't seeing that Xbox is doing the same thing to you, you big dummy. You're not even going to get your own games. You're going to be playing Xbox games on the PlayStation 5 because Sony's going to be afraid to compete with the Halo and the Gears and the Forzas. You see, you just bodied your own argument. You just shown that PlayStation don't know how to make good games, and they don't make games that people appreciate. Because y'all don't even appreciate them. But I wouldn't go as far to say that the game wouldn't exist. I would just go as far to say that the game would be multiplat. There you go. Consoles is dead, bro. Stop with this exclusives.
Simple, right?
Astro Bot would have existed even if it wasn't an exclusive, because Sony probably would have made it multiplat.
And again, a lot of folks that are against this are...
So that still goes against your own argument. You just bodied your argument 2 to 3 times already.
Xbox defenders to the core, and so they want to demonize exclusives. The grifters want to demonize exclusives. Those that play on PC and want those games everywhere, which means that would be on PC as well, so they don't have to wait for games.
Man, like I said, bro, we're going to end this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. XVault game, and he's crashing out. He don't even know the weight of what he's even saying anymore, bro. Because like I said, if he actually listens to what he says, he will realize that, oh, Astro Bot wouldn't exist if Mario was on PlayStation. But the funny thing is, Mario will still be successful on Nintendo. Mario, if it went to Xbox, would still be successful. Mario, if it went to PC, would still be successful. Mario, if it even went to Sony, would be successful. So there you go. So that shows you that Nintendo will live, Microsoft will live, but Sony won't live in the inevitable future because people don't value them for your games. For your games. Nobody cares about PlayStation games. They never did. During the PS1 and 2, all y'all did was play Grand Theft Auto, Madden, 2K. That's all y'all been playing. Y'all been doing it since the PlayStation 1 with third party. The truth has been exposed. You tell a Sony dude to name top 10 games from PlayStation 1. What are you going to say? Jumping Flash? Jumping the bro, really? Parappa the Rapper? Oh, hell no. We was playing Nightmare Creatures, Fighting Force. You know, we was playing Tomb Raider, Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Parasite, Eve, Threads of Fate, Chrono Cross. We was playing the Tenshus. We was playing games made by the third-party offerings that just happened to be exclusive at the time. Because if you really think about it, if those games went to the Saturn, which some of them did, what real exclusives did PlayStation? When I mean real exclusives, I mean first-party games made by Sony. Tekken was never... I mean, you ask a dude, oh, what's the best PlayStation 1 game? Tekken 1, 2, and 3. You know those ain't real exclusives, right? Battle Arena to Shinden. You know that's not made by Sony either, right? You know what I'm saying? Think about what I'm saying, guys. Instead of just sitting there saying, oh, he a fanboy, he a fan. Look at what I'm saying. These games are not made by Sony. This is why when the PS3 came and Sony had to use their own games, nobody played them because people's like, I don't care about that. I like Final Fantasy. I don't care about that. I don't want to play that garbage folklore. I want to play, a third party. And when Microsoft did it with the third party with 360, that completely changed the dynamic of everything. Y'all know it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, man, this dude XVault don't know what he talking about again.